This is Karl Dyer, and Radioregent is the epicenter of classic music. This is Karl Dyer, bringing fire to Radioregent on the Kool Breeze Experience.
Hello, good afternoon, Toronto. Kool Breeze Experience on Radioregent.com. I'm broadcasting live from the Radioregent facilities in downtown Toronto. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Karl Dyer to Radioregent.
Thank you. Hi.
And welcome. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you. We're going to talk about your evolution. We're going to talk about your vision. We're going to talk about your mission and spirituality of your athletic career and fitness and anything else you have on board. But before we get into the meat of things, how have you been?
I'm awesome. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, thank you. And so far, how do you feel as you come into the Radioregent studio?
A little nervous at first, but hanging out with Curtis and just listening to some cool vibes during the Kool Breeze Experience has been awesome.
Thank you. Tell me, from a historical perspective, how did you get started?
Oh, geez. Born and raised here.
Okay.
Played road hockey.
Okay.
You know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fell in love with football.
Yes.
Around the age of 9.
Okay.
And wanted to be a pro athlete.
Nice.
Football was my first love.
Okay.
And loved the camaraderie and
Right.
the focus and whatever. And then started to play a little basketball and I think
Mix it up.
Yeah.
Mix it up.
As a kid, you're always gonna do things you like to do, and
Find your niche.
yeah, hockey wasn't it for me.
Right on. Tell the people, where did your love and passion for athletics come from, and how did that influence your style as an athlete?
Wow. 1984 Olympics.
Nice.
We just moved to Oshawa,
Okay.
and I was bummed because I wasn't with my friends. I was living in Toronto anymore, and
Right.
I remember watching 1984 Olympics and Canada. I had Ben Johnson, little known athlete at the time, but still kind of known.
Right.
And there was a supernova named Karl Dyer. Carl Lewis. I wish. And it was a seed that was planted, and I didn't know anything. I just knew I wanted to go to the Olympics.
Nice. What would you say is the one thing more than any other accounts for your success? Talent, charm, luck?
Hard work.
Nice.
Hard work. My dad passed when I was 10, but one of the things he was able to impart on me, and my mother too, raising 4 kids on her own. Grinding.
That's what you got to do.
And, you know, seeing the pageantry of the 1984 Olympics, I didn't know the process.
Okay.
I just knew I had a goal, a feeling, something that I didn't know how to get, but I knew I wanted.
Right. Work towards it.
Yeah, but again, I had no plan. I was a 14-year-old kid.
Right.
Just watching this big athletic circus and knowing that I just kind of wanted to be there. Didn't know how.
But you found a formula.
Yeah, in a circuitous way, sure. Football, basketball, volleyball, and then I kind of found a track. A football colleague of mine at the time named Andy was living in Oshawa, going to high school, and he said, try this.
Okay.
And I think at the time too, I was, you know, just like any other kid in high school, just trying to fit in and belong.
Right.
Was loving basketball at the time. I kind of dunk basketballs, and it was a nice, simple transition.
Right. Karl, give us a sense of how many medals you had.
Oh, geez.
Triple jump.
Curtis, I struggle with that because I don't even know where they are. I don't.
But you know you want them.
I do.
Right.
It's just, it's funny because talking to a client the other day, and she asked me what one of my best feelings in my life was.
Yeah.
And I realized it was about flying. It wasn't about necessarily being at the Olympics or being a Canadian champion. It was about just being in the air and feeling weightless.
Right. Want to feel
I
freedom.
Yeah.
Been there, buddy.
Just cheating gravity for half a second, and everything in my mind was about how to make that extend a little longer.
Yeah.
And if, going to this amazing event was part of the rewards, sure. But that, I realize now, wasn't the reason why I grinded and suffered and worked out every day.
Okay. And I got to tell you, Karl Dyer has been a national athlete for the last 15 years as a personal trainer. E3 Live has allowed him to motivate himself and his clients to achieve their performance goal as an athlete. Tell us, after your athletic career, you got into fitness?
Yeah.
And how does that transform that energy and the things you learn in the struggle of the athlete to help people with that positive energy? Because I see you in the gym for many years, transforming people and taking them to a different place, and I love that.
Well, everybody, it's funny because just saw something recently with watching Mike Tyson. I love Mike Tyson. And he was saying he doesn't believe in talent.
Okay.
And I paused for a second, I thought about it, and I realized that what he meant was talent is a nice thing to start with, but you got to be process oriented, and you got to work every day, and you have to go and come back from the highs and lows when things more often than not aren't going well, and you're not getting the desired goal right away. But there's something within the process, that single-minded process, if you can get there, that allows you to gain the gifts of that pursuit.
Yes.
And those are the things that you're left with as a residue.
Right.
As an athlete and or now a trainer or as a father.
Right.
Or a partner or whatever.
Okay.
So I realize now in these years past what the most important thing to attain was.
Yes.
Because again, I don't know where my medals are.
Right.
So, clearly that wasn't it.
Right.
And won the Olympic trials, but I didn't go to the Olympics.
Right.
And I was really upset about that.
Okay.
I was really bothered. And I forgot about the reasons why I did what I did every day.
Right.
Clearly it wasn't for the accolades. It was about an experience that I wanted.
Exactly.
And I didn't get it. But what about the experiences that I had?
You use that
in pursuing the experience that I wanted.
Right on.
Are those discounted? No.
Could never be.
They could never be, because that's my journey.
Yes.
And that's kind of part of the reason why we're here.
Yeah, that's the blueprint.
Yeah. And again, the attitudes you have post Olympics or not. Because then what happens after that?
Yeah.
You're sitting there. When you're going through that process, there's no plan B.
Right.
There's only plan A.
Absolutely.
And when you're pursuing that, you're here. You got your hard hat on, like the miner's hat with the light, and nothing else matters. And you're not thinking about anything else other than yourself. And that's cool.
Yeah.
But after the journey, or at least part of that part of the journey is done,
what
next?
Yes.
So that's where training comes into effect in personal training.
I had a similar, that's an illuminating explanation. I had a musician on, Orrin Isaacs, back, and he said something similar to you. He says, talent, he said something like the Mike Tyson. He says, he's more believe in hard work. Yes, that is a prerequisite, but, and Billy Joel says, somebody asked him on an interview of talent, he said, talent is nothing without hard work.
Thank you. And that's what I realized I learned from my mom and dad.
Yeah.
Because I gotta be perfectly honest with you. I was a flat-footed triple jumper.
But you work it out.
Dude.
Work it out.
Flat-footed.
Yeah.
think about that.
Wow.
It hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
And but I still had a aptitude for it. And when again, in hindsight, I look back, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't think about the fact that I was flat-footed.
Yeah.
Just the fact that I something I wanted, and it just gave me a purpose.
Yeah.
That not a lot of things did.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add to that journey for myself, Karl. When I was coming up in Trinidad and Tobago, I didn't see myself as any talented anybody. I played cricket to the highest level that I could at that time, and I did real good, but I didn't think nothing of it. But when I came to Canada, I see guys playing basketball and football, soccer and everything, music, and I go, wow. I played music in high school, dibble and dabble in the orchestra and things like that. But there were guys on higher level at the time in the community. And I thought, like, I used to say, well, God, why did you forsake thee? Like, you didn't bless me with anything. Not knowing when wisdom came around and people started, I said, how could you forsake thee with not even 1 ounce of nothing? To me, because I was searching for something. My mom passed when I was 2 and my dad. So I was on my own at 18 and trying to find myself. And I worked hard at this music thing for years, I'm telling you, years, till I found a formula, until my calling came. I was ready to do it. And then musicians come and say, man, this is your charisma, this is your voice, the way you play music. They compliment me from all over the world.
But most importantly, your passion.
Passion, that's what they say. And I go, wow. I said, thank you, God. You shone that light on me. And Karl, I gotta tell you, it's amazing to have you. And one of the things that inspired me, I've known you for a lot of years. You were at the Go Good Life. Fitness. And the whole energy, how you transform people. And I was working out a couple of weeks ago, and I said to myself, I had all kinds of people from the diaspora, musicians, poets, writers. And I said, I don't want to be one-dimensional, just with music and artists. Let me get a man in athletic fitness and things like that. And I'm going to ask you, Karl, how important is fitness?
Tell me somebody who it does not affect.
Right.
We aren't necessarily all athletes.
Right.
But that doesn't matter. You still have a vehicle called your body,
Temple.
which carries your mind.
Body and soul.
And they work together.
Right.
And one influences the other, and the other influences the other, and then these two influence the spirit.
Right.
And when you're going through physical pursuits, whether it be martial arts, whether it be for an hour-long walk, whether trying to do a chin-up, there's a mind-body, spiritual, three-legged tripod connection that they all support each other.
What you're saying is so right, Karl, because I'm going to share this too with you. I started martial arts late in my career, 51 years old.
I met you when you started.
57 now. And I thought, I always wanted to do this coming out of the islands, and it was too expensive at the time and dynamics. So I finally got into the martial arts thing, and I trained like a monster, the oldest guy in the gym, but they were scared of me at one point, even the masters, because my punch, I great train, and I worked hard. I felt like I could bust up walls and things like that. It was just unbelievably explosiveness. And I never gave up, because this stuff, age hasn't, is what's in the mind.
Absolutely.
And you take it, you want it bad, you go get it. And make things happen. Karl, I've got to ask you, what would be your ultimate achievement? What would you say?
Well, obviously I have to say being a father and doing a great job there.
MVP.
But it's funny, and again, this is how these things come up. I was climbing maybe about 2 years ago, we were just talking.
Yeah.
And just in between sets, what was your favorite moment? What's your best moment of your life? As a guy, she thought it was going to be me, something virginity, losing my virginity or whatever, but it was after my son is funny dunking my first basketball. It's so simple,
but it brings a joy to your heart that you can't explain.
The things that you did and the focus and the nothing else matteredness about it was just all encompassing. I know it's simple, but just that feeling.
There's a magic that comes with that until you've been there. Explain.
Yeah, and I'm almost embarrassed to say, you know.
Why?
Shouldn't have been graduating or, you know, whatever, but no.
All right, I gotta ask you, Karl. When you got your first medal and you went up on stage and they put that thing over your neck, that medal, and they shook your hands, take us there. What was that feeling, that energy like?
It didn't last. That's the thing. It didn't last. As soon as you get that medal, you step down, you take it off. Most people want more.
Really?
You want more.
Okay.
What's next? What's the game plan? I want more. And I wish, to be honest, in that whole time, I enjoyed those moments a little bit more.
Okay.
And got what was necessary out of them.
Right.
And then back to the drawing board.
Okay.
And that's all being in the moment. And that's stuff that, as an athlete, as a martial artist, as business people, as we go about our day, I think that's all of our challenges.
Right.
But being in the moment, being present.
Okay.
And I believe, you know, personal training and exercising. And again, you don't have to be a personal trainee.
Right.
You can do things on your own.
Absolutely. It's
about being in the moment.
Right.
It's about being with yourself and clearing your mind and then going back about your day.
Right. Karl, when you were training for the Olympics, what was your diet like?
All over the place.
Really?
At the time.
Fried chicken, burgers, sausages?
Sometimes. I was at York University, some stressful workouts. And, you know, in the back of your mind, you're thinking about this result. And, you know, it's an 8-year plan. And it got a little stressful.
Okay.
And it got a little... obviously, the pursuit of it was what I was looking to get out of it. But sometimes it got personal, and sometimes you got upset, and sometimes you struggled. And I remember one time leaving York University, having a bad practice, and I went and ate 15 tacos.
Wow.
15 tacos at Taco Bell.
Wow.
And I felt better.
Yeah, of course.
And I went to sleep, I woke up, and I started again.
I hear you, man. What are one or two things you do currently in your training that keys to your success?
Meditation. Meditation, I think, is very powerful. I think it's something, especially for what I feel the demographic of this audience is.
Right.
At this point in time, you know, your secular pursuits, you know, buy this, get this, acquire that, comfortable in your job. Then you start to look for more. Again, we're always looking for more. What next?
Absolutely.
What more? Meaning of life, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about that. But what I do know about is the moment.
Right.
And I think that's what we all have more control over. That's where we can kind of center ourselves and find our greater peace.
Right. And speaking about the moment, you brought that up a few times in the interview. Musicians always talk about that moment. The musical magic of the moment. That is like the key thing. You're playing out there and the crowd hits you and they give back and you get the band all fired up like a Komodo dragon, and then things get really nice and crazy.
That's
sweet, the sweetness.
There's a symphony or a symmetry that nothing else can compare to. And this is why it's going back and forth. Sport, music, whatever your pursuit is, whatever your passion is, just make sure you find one. Because that's what those things are all about. They're the things that get you focused and deeper in the moment.
Right.
And this is what exercise or meditation or playing music or listening to music or going for a long walk. It just has you present. And the gift of life is the present.
Absolutely. Karl, I'm from the old school, and you're part of that too. I remember days when we used to raid training. There was a discipline because we had older cats training with, and they would have you down there. We were pumping iron like you swear we're going to fight in Afghanistan. The things we used to do in the gym, tons of weight and training, and the discipline we did 3-4 days a week. Now when I go into the gym, I would see a guy with a dumbbell and a phone in one hand. Hey baby, how you doing? Yeah, hold on a second. Let me just change arms there. Yeah. We will meet up tonight.
Yeah. Get my pump on.
Yeah, and they do two or three little things, but it becomes a social workout instead of a physical workout.
I struggle with that too.
Wow.
But two sides of that coin.
Okay.
You know, we're old school, so we approach things a little bit more monastically in a way. It's a little bit more single-minded.
Yes.
Where fitness is, again, it's not a linear route.
Mm-hmm.
As long as somebody's doing something.
Yes. Better than
I wouldn't do it like that, taking selfies, talking to my girl, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, that's why we started sport. That's why you started martial arts. You did this at a time when you were later, an older athlete. But the reason when you finally got there and you started to put that passion into things, and you became a force of nature in that dojo, is because regardless of the age, you're ready to ante up.
Exactly.
You're ready to fully be immersed
and
do everything with passion.
Yes, and I remember when I tested for my belts, they used to they give everybody one board. They were a thick board. They used to give me two. And they get a kick out of it because they know I could do it.
Passion and personality, my friend.
Yes, and my very first belt was on my birthday, the very first belt I got. And those days, they had a bunch of black belts, there were like 15, 20 of them. And you would go through a process, you shake their hands, you get the certificate, somebody ties the belt, and you go around. They decide to give me a gift. I had to get a punch from 20 people. Masters, kids, I had to take those 20 punches. I took it like a man. But you know what? You remember this thing because it's magic.
I think a part of why that was there for you is because of the passion you approached your craft with.
Thank you.
I think that's something that we all can control over.
Yeah.
And that's, as a personal trainer, I believe my job is to empower people.
Yes.
Not to motivate you.
Right.
That's different.
Right.
But to empower you.
That's
not to break you down.
No.
But to actually build you up.
Inspire.
So I can take more from you.
Right.
If I build you up, you have more for us to do and more for me to take.
Absolutely.
So we can pursue a little higher.
What was the best advice you were ever given as a young cat coming up?
Wow. I had a lot of mentors.
Does anything stand out there?
From Charlie Francis to Erwin Turney to Ben Johnson, Mark McCoy, been blessed.
Yeah.
I think it's always been the simplest.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's happened that day, you just got to come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that anything was actually said. I think it's more the examples that I saw daily.
Yeah.
One of my first experiences going to the track was, Ben Johnson is on his ascent to begin the world record, and him and I are wrestling. And I'm 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to survive.
Right.
I don't think that there's anything, at least nothing that comes to mind right away that says, oh, this was, the words that changed me or the expression that helped me get to the next level. I just think it was about the lessons I saw every day, and athletes I saw, they put their socks on one at a time, and they came and grinded, and we all suffered together.
Yeah.
And nobody thought at that point in time, nobody thought they were better than anybody else.
That's good, man. That's a beautiful place to be.
It was very organic.
Yeah.
York University and those types of training environments, it was a beautiful exchange that doesn't necessarily happen anymore. And I don't have a problem with it. I get it.
Yeah.
Sport has changed. The pursuits have changed. The money
Right.
is a great focus.
Right.
It would have been nice, but that wasn't the meat and potatoes for me.
Right, right. Where do you draw your inspiration from, Karl?
Everybody.
Nice.
I live in a building where there's people in wheelchairs. And I remember one time in the winter, not the past winter before, I'm in my apartment, I got home from a long day, I'm thinking about just kicking my feet up and, watching sports. And I hear this dog just constantly barking, just driving me crazy. It's incessant. I said, okay, get off your butt and look what the hell's going on. I look outside, and this woman I know in the building named Ann, it was her helper dog. That was calling for help.
Okay.
Because she was stuck in the snow and she couldn't move her wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
Brother.
Most people would say, I can't be
Dude, it's stuff like that just helps me get a check, My whole thing was about adding an inch to my triple jump, and you know, I care so much, and other people should too. Screw that.
Yeah.
I remember I started personal training. There was this woman. She had double knee replacement. She had a wrist replacement, and she was getting another one coming.
Wow.
And you know what she says to me? She's, Karl, I'm working with you so I can learn how to pick myself up when I fall.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That gave me a paradigm
Wake up
shift.
call. Yes. Yeah.
I said, look at you, you selfish. You know
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
All you care about is another inch.
Yes, and how good you look in the mirror.
Right? And,
Yeah.
you know, that wasn't part of it yet, the mirror thing, but that was in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this woman told me that. It gave me goosebumps. And it just changed me forever.
Good.
I just want to be able to get up when I fall.
Yes.
I just want to be able to get up when I fall.
I hear you, Karl. Karl, you know me in the broadcast business. I don't get paid for this.
Nope.
But the passion and the energy and the commitment and the drive and the everything that comes with that, it's cool breeze. When I get up in the morning and I tell God, good morning, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, that's $1 million in the bank.
True wealth is health.
Yes. And I go, wow, it's a good day. I'm not in hospital. I'm not sling up to intravenous, all this crazy thing. It's a beautiful day. It's a phenomenal day, regardless what's on hand. And I go, wow, I'm blessed to do this. The other things will come into place whenever it comes. Karl, but I've got to ask you, your how important is a athlete being a role model?
We're all going to get our motivation from many different sources. Mandela, Dr. Maya Angelou,
Yes. Martin Luther King,
Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Donald Trump. That was a joke.
Yeah.
Moments are going to touch us different.
Yes.
In different times and in different places in our life.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times my motivation didn't come from other athletes. Like I said, that woman trying to just get into her apartment in a winter storm.
Had the greatest impact.
Right? And an impact on an athlete
Yeah.
or on a trainer who trained people.
Yeah.
So I that's why I just always come back to, and everyone else, you'll figure things out
Eventually.
when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
You realize you can handle pretty much anything when you breathe.
True.
And these are things as a martial artist myself as I learned.
Yeah.
There's things you learn as an athlete pursuing triple jumping or an Olympic event.
Yeah.
But there's things you learn just doing things on your own and just being present.
Yeah.
And recognizing the gifts of life and the things that happen, you know, in certain moments can be that much more affecting, and be cool with that.
Yeah.
But you have to have your eyes open, you have to have your heart open.
True. True. Karl, I was watching an incredible documentary on sports a while back on ESPN. Football, basketball, soccer, you name it. Every athlete, baseball, hockey, known to man. And they had all these things where athletes went broke. They made a ton of money, and they were doing craziness in Vegas, gambling and the champagne and the strip clubs, pouring money and the money that passed through these athletes' hand, and you go, where are they now? A lot of them are broke. This was mind blowing to me.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. When you're pursuing these things and doing these elite abilities and expressing them, and people recognize and say, I want to get behind you as well.
Yeah.
You know, it can blind you a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you're godlike.
Yes.
I'm different than everybody else. And through application, I know it.
Right.
And through the validity of these people and how they're helping your pursuit, can be a little intoxicating. So I understand that. I understand that as an athlete, you live somewhat of an insulated life if you're going to training every day and you're, you know, eliminating other things out of your life. What you're eliminating is the ability to manage your life. You're only managing one aspect of your life, which is athleticism and pursuits of that.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But what happens is when you come out at the other end, achieving the goal or not,
Right.
you might get financial help along the way.
Yeah.
Amateur athletes don't get a lot.
Right.
Some pro athletes do, and we use those examples.
Okay.
But there's other examples that when you come out at the end, not only do you not know what's next, this last 10, 12, 15 years of your life, you've been so insulated, you haven't learned certain aspects of life.
Right.
And other things outside of your sporting arena and your sporting pursuits.
Right.
So, relationships, how do I manage them? How do I be a father? I don't know. I didn't have one myself.
Right.
So if you take the positive side of things, you'll ask questions like any good athlete would,
Yeah.
and you'll seek help.
Right.
But a lot of times you come out of those at the end of those pursuits and you're a little arrogant, a little, I did this and I did that. But I wish I could talk to myself then, because I realized a lot of the things that yes, I gained certain things as an athlete in the pursuits of it, but only help you with certain disciplines.
Right.
It didn't help you with certain experiences.
Right.
And you didn't experience a lot of life.
Right.
Paying your rent. I did that, yes.
Yes. Right.
That's one of the blessings of not getting a lot of money as an athlete and working 2 jobs like the athlete I was. I had drive, but I was able to take care of myself.
Right.
A lot of athletes don't. They don't get that. They're
Yeah.
taken care of. Everything's done for them. Your flights are booked. Your hotels are booked. You just got to show up and perform.
Yeah.
And again, as a single-minded focus, that's necessary.
Right.
But the pragmatic approach and conversation is, I don't have these other abilities.
Right.
And now I'm thrown into life
Okay.
with people who do have these abilities.
Right.
And how do you get along with, say, a partner or a coworker and stuff like that? Because you're not that athlete anymore.
Right.
You're just like everybody else. But you're carrying yourself a certain way. That transition hasn't happened. So a lot of times we need to be humbled
Quite true. I like
in
that.
this transition.
Yes.
And in every transition,
Right.
there's going to be friction.
All the time.
There has to be. Nothing is
Smooth.
as a cool breeze landing like from a plane, right? Or you land in the West Indies and everybody claps.
Yeah, yeah.
Not every landing is like that.
No. Quite
Right?
true.
So,
Quite true.
or transition is like that.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yeah.
that was one of my biggest challenges at first.
Right. Karl, I gotta ask you, because you and I had the same experience with having one parent type deal. How did you drive yourself that discipline, that motivation to be in sports and fitness and just being there alone and trying to figure out the formula to make this work?
Oh, jeez. Well, like I said, I didn't have a plan at the time. I just had a feeling. Boom. I want to do this.
Right.
All right. Well, what about the in-between stuff? Because this
Yeah.
is a while away.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I had a mother. She did her thing. She was working every day, grinding. But I wanted my own thing. I was an independent kid. I was the oldest child of 4, and I got a paper route. And funny enough, getting a paper route
That was a big deal.
was not only a big deal. I had to get up every morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock,
Discipline.
and put my papers together as a star.
Discipline.
Remember back then, it was all put this together, put that together, put it in the
right.
buggy.
Get it right.
And, it's Canada. It's winter.
Yes.
And it was cold. And you had to do it or else you weren't going to get paid.
Yeah.
And that consistency through rain or shine, snow, it didn't matter. You had to deliver your paper. People were waiting for their paper or you're not getting paid.
Right on.
Was present for that, and recognizing now in hindsight the pillars
Right.
it helped put in place,
Right.
where I don't really miss workouts and I don't stop,
Right.
and it's simply because I understand if you want something, you got to be pretty consistent and have passion behind it.
Right. Karl, I got to ask you. Every guest artist they have a different perspective, opinion on success. What is your definition of success?
Well, that's why I'm so blessed and lucky. Love to read. One of my favorite poets is Ralph Waldo Emerson, otherwise known as just Emerson. He's an American poet.
Right.
And I can't remember the whole poem, but one of the lines in there says that the true success is the ability to help another person breathe a little easier.
Yes. Brilliant
With
wisdom.
the Cool Breeze experience, that's your success. That's why you have
Thank you.
the passion you have.
Right.
Through an experience of changing somebody's life as a personal trainer, and knowing for sure, when I met this person, they were one way,
Yeah.
and now they're their embodiment of this.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good.
Yes.
Yeah, the paycheck is okay, and yeah, that need to live. Yes, we all need to survive.
Yes.
But when you have those two P's, passion and personality,
Yeah.
in anything that you do,
Yes. Unbelievable.
the money stuff will take care of itself.
Exactly. Because I remember about a year ago, I was just got into the radio broadcast, and we bounced up in the concourse, and I was explaining this new gig I had, and I saw the excitement in your face, man. That got me riled up. I said, Karl is so excited that I got this thing, because he knows that I was in the right place to do this thing that was built up inside of me.
You could see it was organic, and you, more importantly, you could feel the love and passion. And I knew you were embarking on something that I had the pleasure of doing too. You were embarking on a pursuit that had no monetary gain. Right? So you knew for sure when you woke up and you were thinking about that and you were pursuing that and doing that, that's as organic as it gets.
Yes.
I'm doing this like I'm getting paid,
Yes.
but I ain't getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
And you're taking your time, and this, for the most part, is one of the most important things in my life.
Yes.
And like a plant or like anything that is worth growing,
Yes.
you put your energy and your commitment behind it. And that's what convinced me. When I saw the look in your eye, and I could feel the energy transfer that you gave me, and then I gave it back to you, and it was just this, like two guys sparring, and Marshall was it was beautiful.
Yes.
And organic.
Thank you. Karl, when all is said and done for you, how would you like to be remembered?
That I was consistent. Consistently happy, consistently engaging, consistently approachable,
Right.
consistently accessible. Yeah, we have our good days and bad days, absolutely, but like you said, and like I was saying earlier, I live in a building where I'm reminded every day how blessed I am just to walk out
Yes.
and go to a job or
Yeah.
whatever, or to have a passion
Right.
and to have a reason to be present and in the moment. I don't take those things for granted anymore.
Right.
I used to,
Okay.
but I don't anymore because
Right.
I knew I had an athletic gift. And post sport and post Olympic pursuits, and working with all different demographics in society,
Right.
from CEOs to teachers to 12-year-olds.
Wow.
You see that it's not all about athletic potential. It's great to see and have,
Yes.
but is that person, because they were gifted from parents who had great genetics, to a person who's not, are they any better?
Yeah.
This person may not have the genetics, but they're coming back every day.
Yeah.
When things kind of suck,
Right.
when they're not good at this,
Right.
and they're seeing it every day that they're not good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But they come back with a good attitude. They come back with the right attitude,
Right.
and they're consistent. And that's why I loved what Mike Tyson said. I don't believe in talent.
Right. Okay.
I don't believe in talent. I believe about passion and hard work.
All right.
And when things don't go well, you're like, you know what? You shake it off and you come back tomorrow.
Karl, I gotta ask you something. Well said. Team sport. You got a guy, just unbelievable Michael Jordan type talented guy, but has a bad attitude, some troublesome, disruptive to the team. How do you deal with a dude like that?
That is a tough
Coaching.
one.
Do you want him or do you not? You gotta get rid of him.
Again, maybe not.
Disrespectful to the coach, disruptive to the team, but talented, potential championship, but nasty attitude. Doesn't want to train.
Whose problem is that? Was it the coaches? Is it the teammates? It's the parents. That's the society for allowing it happen and not rebuke this person like someone who had less talent, because the person that had less talent, you pull them aside and say, yo, what's going on here?
Yes.
But this alpha, this elite one, people aren't so willing to do that because they might lose them, and they might lose that thing that they're doing for the team or for the coach or whatever. So as an athlete, I wasn't that kind of kid, but I knew I had my moments where I was like, I need to be kind of just
straighten up.
Yeah, because again, you're seeing how people are responding to the things you're doing.
Yes.
And that can be intoxicating.
Right.
And it can F with your mind when it comes to, what's really important and how people value certain things.
Right.
And I know it's not right, it's just a better balance has to be found. And I because one thing I know for sure is Father Time is undefeated.
Yes.
So an athlete's going to get old at a point.
Right.
But when you're in that young, sweet spot, trying to manage that level athlete like a wild horse is very difficult.
Nice.
I know that where I am right now, as the age I'm at, the athlete that I was, and how I carry myself, I think I might be able to talk to a person like that and connect with them because, still maintaining an athletic ability yourself, other athletes respect that.
Right.
And if you can talk to them, not necessarily as peers because I'm past that ability,
right,
but at least you can look them in the eye and say, look, was my experience. This is where, I felt I went wrong or erred.
Right.
Not saying you're doing the way that I did it or whatever, but maybe you should think about this.
Right.
That is how you want to approach someone like that. It's a difficult situation because to them, they're like, why should I listen to you?
Right. Okay.
I am that guy. I am doing those things.
Right.
But you just want to build and impart onto them. Yes, you are that guy, but are you doing those things the right way?
Right, right.
And it's not good enough to do the right thing. Expressing that a talent that person has, yes.
Right.
But you got to do the right thing the right way. And I think
well said.
If there's something that, from athletic pursuits to motivating other people to whatever, that is one of the things. If you ask me to encapsulate a message,
right,
it's that.
Okay.
Do the right thing, meaning your passion,
right,
what you should be doing, but do it the right way.
Okay. Karl, you're walking down the street one day, and a young kid said, Karl Dyer, I want to get into Olympics. What kind of inspiration would you give them?
I'd want to see first if they're inspired themselves.
Okay.
Are they just talking?
Okay.
Or are they willing to work?
Okay.
That's key.
Okay.
Because saying something,
anybody could say it.
Anybody can say anything. People, I don't carry business cards anymore. How many people I meet tell me they want to train and I want to be fit and this and that. It's like, great. Here's my number.
Yes.
Until you make that call or the next day and the day after and the day after that.
Yeah.
When I see your grocery cart, what do I see in there?
Yeah.
These are things that are going to tell me if you're serious. And when you are that serious, and when you have that conviction, that passion behind you, quote unquote mind over matter, you will orchestrate and change your future.
Right.
With this powerful radio antenna that we have called a brain.
Right.
We send off signals and we pull things in, and we'll orchestrate that future for ourselves. But you need to have that thing I was blessed to see when I was watching those 1984 Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You think Martin Luther King knew what was going to happen? He didn't say I have a 12-step plan to change America. He said I have a dream.
Right.
Isn't that what he said? I have a dream. I have a feeling. There's people behind him who did the legal work.
Right.
Abernathy, men like that. But, and that's what I had. I had a blessing or a passion for doing something. Remember, flat-footed triple jumper.
Wow.
So, but still having that passion to realize, man, I love this. I love how I feel doing this.
Yeah.
And if there's an inkling of talent, that passion is like it's like a growing agent to a seed.
Right.
And all of a sudden, excuse my language, shit happens.
Yes.
And things start to happen just when you need it the most.
Right.
Just when you're like, man, it's not. And then boom.
Mm-hmm.
There was the first time I triple jumped, I got second at a competition. But then I did another competition and it didn't go so well. And I had to make a choice. Can I handle when things not go so well?
Yeah.
Can I look myself in the mirror and still have that same commitment and conviction
Right.
and energy that's necessary to continue to build up this seed of thought
Right on.
as it transitions into action?
Right. Karl, I gotta ask you, was there a time you go in to compete on the highest level and you see the competition around you, you start nervousness and butterflies, and how do you work that out? Real quick before that they call you.
Well, that's why I gotta be honest. That's why I wasn't a sprinter. I tried sprinting,
Uh-huh.
and I literally was in the blocks,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to pee my pants. This is not boxing where someone's about to punch you in the face. You're in your own lane, and there's 7 other people in lanes that are segmented by a line. It's pretty simple. You hear a sound, you go. I didn't hear that sound, and I'm losing my mind.
Wow.
I was too. My first love was football.
Yes.
Was intense and stressful and tension filled. And I approached sprinting like that. And again, flat-footed athlete.
Yeah.
Was that the ideal scenario for a sprinter?
Right.
No, not really. But I kept trying, and did hurdling, did shot put, did javelin, long jump, and my buddy showed me triple jumping, and I was hooked.
Wow. Good. I remember watching a documentary with Karl Lewis and the Ben build up.
979 asterisk?
Yeah.
I love that.
Anyways, just before the race started, Karl walked around and all he knew he had Ben to deal with. And he looked at the rest of the guys and he told them, you guys are just a bunch of lane fillers.
Oh,
What a breakdown. You're a bunch of lane fillers.
ouch.
Big time. And he got into this block and Ben whipped him. And then the rest was history. He's just like, wow. You ever had egos like that competing? The guy says, Karl, why do you waste your time, Sonny?
Yeah, we've all had moments like that, and the 100 meters is a rare animal unto itself because it's the tension.
Yeah.
And and I remember those times, and I recognize the difference between a sprinter and a racer.
Yes.
And that's the difference. Ben was a racer.
Sure.
And BJ, I remember Charlie Francis telling me just before the '88 Olympics in Seoul, and Charlie was notorious for always having quarters and nickels and dimes in his hand because he was always buying Diet Coke.
Okay.
That was his thing, Diet Coke. And this is just before the biggest match race in Olympic history. And you remember the tension leading up to that.
Yes. Yes.
For the age group who can actually remember that. And Ben fell asleep
Really?
an hour and a bit before the race.
Wow. Yeah.
Remember, Ben was interviewed just by Dwight Stones, the NBC analyst / broadcaster or play-by-play guy. Ben was quite serious as usual, and he finished a heat and he ran like 10:0 something, and Karl blazed like a 9:9 something, always trying to send a message.
Yes.
Mess with Ben's mind.
Yes.
And Ben says, when the gun go off, the race is done.
Love that line. Oh, I remember
When the
that.
gun go off, the race is done.
I remember.
And he just looked at Dwight Stones in the face. And Dwight says, like, okay, here you go from Canada's Ben Johnson. And then that's exactly what happened. He had an unbelievable self-belief that was, circumstances, we all know. I don't need to go into that because history has shown everybody in that race was doing something.
Yes, of course.
But just the sheer mental approach, because drugs or no drugs, a race still had to be done.
Exactly.
Right? And again, I'm not justifying anything.
No, we don't need to go there.
Place, but I just talk about the moments that stood out for me as a kid watching that. And because going into that final, that's why Ben was in lane 6. I think it was lane 6, because he didn't necessarily have the best time going into the
So
final.
you get the worst lanes.
You got at least not one of the better
Best
lanes.
yes.
Karl had the best lane.
Yes.
And Karl was, elegant and that brash trash talker, where Ben was, a lot more reserved, and clearly his mind was in the right place.
Yes.
Because we saw what happened.
Yeah. And to me, to this day, in track, when I look at the great athletes through all the Olympics, Ben still has one of the fastest kickoff
Oh, yeah.
of all. Man, like Bolt had to catch up that speed. But Ben was like, boom, like that gazelle.
Yeah.
Alligator snatching a prey off the riverbank.
Yes.
You can't
yes,
read that.
Yes.
Boom.
Very
Yeah.
animalistic, very explosive.
Yeah.
And quite unique.
Yes.
You wouldn't necessarily teach that style.
Can't teach that.
It required a lot of power and energy
Yes.
to break inertia like how he did.
Right.
And put himself in a position to capitalize on what's called the sprint position. The ability to get in a certain position to allow your speed to flourish and be magnified. And to get there, it required a lot of flexibility and strength.
Okay. Great.
So you
Karl,
had that.
Is there anything in your journey that you haven't accomplished, wish that you did?
That I haven't known? Well, yeah.
Through a couple of them.
It's, people ask, do you have any regrets? No. But I like a few do-overs.
Yeah.
And, I didn't get that dream. I didn't get the Olympics. I won the Olympic trials, but I didn't do good enough, and they didn't send me, and I watched them at home. And it was that transition from being that single-minded athlete to having a hope and almost pulling it off. It was a tough situation that day. It was a rainy, cold day. It was the beginning of El Nino, 1996, and we didn't have a lot of time to make the Olympic standard. It was mid-June we had to do it, and Canada, I remember on the Olympic trials that day, it was 6 degrees in Montreal. Wow. And I remember but the great thing is my coach, Erwin Turney, he was psychologically had us out March 1st in the snow or shine, running as athletes. I'm talking Donovan Bailey at the time.
Montreal is no picnic.
Yeah.
And Kool is.
This would have been, my bad. This was 92, 93.
Yeah.
But we were prepared. So when I came to the trials in 96, obviously we knew what, I remember Donovan Bailey, he ended up winning gold in Atlanta and stuff like that. But before, he was in our group, in a small group, and he was out there with the rest of us. And it taught us, and if you remember the 96 Olympics with Donovan, the adversity was there was 3 or 4 false starts.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And if you remember, Donovan was able to capitalize on that because, in my opinion, our coach had us out there. His earlier coach, anyways, Erwin, had us out there in not so pleasant environment.
So it did
but we
help.
were Canadian athletes.
And it helped you guys.
It helped us. I know it did because it prepared our minds for anything.
Right.
Because competition isn't linear.
Right.
There's so many influences, and I think that was probably as a self-accountable athlete, that might have been the hardest thing for me to accept, was because I always thought I was the one that was in complete control of my success as an athlete or failure.
Right.
And that's a good place to start, but you have to be willing to recognize that that isn't necessarily the way it is.
Great. With all the Olympics you've seen over the years, Karl, how's it compared today to the past, in general?
Well, there's a lot of similarities.
Yes.
Athletes do sincerely want to represent the country.
Okay.
That was arguably one of the most gratifying things, was envisioning myself in that Canadian uniform.
Right.
That red and white. I'm a born Canadian. I'm proud of it.
Absolutely.
Or a person who comes here from another country and represents.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about representing your old country, you're thinking about representing Canada.
Absolutely.
So
All eyes on you.
yeah, that was beautiful. That drive. As an athlete at a point,
Right.
whether you have what it takes to be a gold medalist.
Right.
I knew I didn't.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and lie.
All right.
But I still wanted to be at the dance.
Sure.
I still wanted to mix it up.
Yeah, of course.
And I was pretty cool with the fact that I wasn't going to be a gold medalist,
Right.
flat-footed triple jumper.
Right.
But I still felt I could maximize my potential and get there.
Never give up.
Right.
Never give up the dream. Karl, is any shout outs to friends, family? You want to throw it? Let's do it, man.
Well, my son's at camp right
Yeah,
now.
what's his
I'd love to
name?
Shout out my Gashio.
Put it up.
I love him. He's my pride and joy.
How old is he?
He just turned 9. Yeah, he's everything I could ask for as a parent.
Right.
He's coachable
Mhm.
and loving.
Okay.
And he reminds me why I go to work every day and I do what I do every day.
Right.
My mother, Melmore, my sisters,
Right.
my girlfriend Carol, who has to be with this gruff guy sometimes. I love her dearly.
Yeah.
And everyone else, listen to the Kool Breeze. Bless up.
Thank you. Karl, it's been an honor and pleasure having you on my show, the Radioregent broadcast facilities in Toronto. Thank you for stopping by Radioregent on the Kool Breeze Experience. I'd like to see you at the studio again. Thanks for showing your love to our city and Radioregent broadcast facilities which manifest in our greatness.
Brother,
Thank you, my brother.
It's been my absolute pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
This has been amazing.
All right, hang around and
Thank you.
you can,
I will.
Yes. Get back to the music, the Kool Breeze Experience.
That was fun.